No matter in which console you're playing, Horizon Forbidden West will look and play stunningly. The longer you traverse the landscapes with Aloy, the more you notice how improved the open world exploration elements are. Whether you're escalating, swimming, or interacting with characters, it all feels carefully crafted. Guerrilla Games even created one of the best settings I've seen on any open world video game, so that's why I came with this video to give you some tips on how to improve your gaming experience in Horizon Forbidden West. But before starting, what do you like the most of this new game? I'm Leo as Luna and welcome! Please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe for more videos like this, or the ones that my roulette of destiny will pick for me. Let's get started. Number 1. Actually download the PS5 version. First, make sure you have the PS5 tag next to Horizon Forbidden West title. If you have the PS4, it means you haven't downloaded the proper version. Go to the 3 dots and pick select version. There you will choose the PS5 tagged one. Choose to copy or download and voila! You'll get a version with faster loading times, with better performance and pristine quality. Number 2. Motion aiming. If you're a Breath of the Wild fan, you probably already know what I'm talking about. Guerrilla silently added an option to use the DualSense gyroscope sensor to help you aim while scanning and shooting. The way it works is simple. You can still aim with the right analog, but you can also move your DualSense controller to give some extra precision. To activate it, simply go to Settings, Controls, and look for Motion Aiming to turn it on. The menu will pop up more settings for this one to tune sensitivity and inverted axis. I would recommend turning Aim Assist off to have less conflict and more natural aiming. I personally prefer it while in slow motion to carefully shoot weak spots on machines. Give it a try and let me know down in the comments if you preferred it on or off. Number 3. Setting up your HUD. Horizon Forbidden West even improved on the HUD options from the previous game. Let's go to General Settings on Quest Pathfinding and Waypoint Pathfinding. Those two will trigger between Explorer and Guided, and as the name suggests, it lets you choose how you want to be guided with your current objectives. Pick Explorer if you want to get to your destination by yourself, or Guided to let you trace you to a recommended set of trails. You can clean your screen from almost every HUD and make it perfect to excellent photographs in the real time. Well, almost clean, excepting the current inventory item icon that I'd love to be removed. Is it possible, Guerrilla? For the sake of photographers in real time. Anyways, go to HUD Visibility, pick Custom, and go to Custom HUD Settings. There you can toggle each of the options you may see during gameplay and let you choose whether to make it visible when you actually need it on Dynamic, to turn it off, or keep it always visible. If you want to take a look at your mission details and other details, simply swipe up the touchpad on your DualSense or DualShock 4 controller. And if you don't want to be that bothered with it, simply pick between Dynamic or and Always On HUD Visibility. And you know what? I totally get that. You don't always have to configure all this at the beginning. It could be better to experience the game first. Aside from the HUD, you can even set the slowdown of the weapon wheel while in combat and how to activate the shield wheel while falling. And if you don't like the headpiece, you can make it invisible without affecting your stats. Number 4. Visual Settings. Guerrilla Games set a high bar for both PS4 and PS5 versions. And on PS5 there are 2 main ways for you to enjoy the visuals and performance. If you go to Settings and Visual, you'll see the Graphics Mode option where you choose between Favor Resolution and Favor Performance. Resolution will trigger the visuals to native 4K and 30 FPS. Yes, you heard that right. Currently, there are not many Sony games on consoles that have achieved that native 4K. Pretty much all textures are set to the max, grass and foliage are looking very detailed. There are far more volumetric clouds and much less popping, something you can only experience by yourself with a dandy good 4K display. The PS5 version does a better job distributing objects and looking nice in the distance, by the way. Then we have Favor Performance, where you could play at 60 FPS on dynamic 2K visuals, which in other words is a scaled down version of Favor Resolution, with some texture looking less sharp in the distance, but perfect if you like a fast-paced action experience. Now for those PS4 and PS5 owners who have HDR on their TVs, try to set up dynamic range settings. Try to play brightness in a way you could see the clouds in the distance as much detail and less dazzling as possible. Configure shadows to provide darkness in places with no light in a way to not grade out other colors, and lastly pick highlights to set how bright you want it. I can share my configuration, but keep in mind that will depend on the screen you're playing. I'm currently on an LG OLED C1 65 inches. My best overall advice is try to make it the sample image as realistic and natural as possible to your eyes. For PS5, you pretty much have the same gameplay mechanics. Speaking of visuals, of course there's some compromise on fidelity. Some of the textures will look less sharp on the ground, characters will have less details here and there, light and shadows will not behave the same way, some cinematics will show as a pre-recorded video instead of real-time, no DualSense support, and load times are insanely slower comparing to PS5. But still plays rock solid, and that's probably what matters the most. PS4 is playable in 1080p 30fps and PS4 Pro up to 800p and 30fps with no additional visual modes to change. And number 5, accessibility. Among other accessibility options, you can make the mount to follow the road automatically, play the game in co-pilot mode with anyone else that can assist or share the game with you, change across 4 difficulty options, lower the vibration of haptic feedback, and disable the trigger effect for weapons. Also, I know there are a lot of people with motion sickness that can deactivate motion blur and camera shake. I personally would like to have even more options for color impaired visuals like The Last of Us Part 2 has. Oh yeah, for audio there's an option to display it in mono if you want one single audio input or to remove tinnitus sounds if you're having that kind of sensitivity with ambience or enemy sound effects, for example. As a side note, I think the game does an excellent job at guiding the player with the gameplay mechanics and world exploration. But let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more tips for Horizon Forbidden West. So that's it folks. If you happen to see anything interesting from this video, or you already knew some of these tips and want to inform your friends, family and loved ones, feel free to send them this video, like, share and subscribe to receive at least one video per week for this kind of topic or others ruled by my roulette of destiny. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as I'm doing, and take care.